So you guys, this is part two um, on your complex form for technical drawing. So you have already established your basic cubes, and now you're ready to cut into them, creating the more complex forms within these shapes. So you really kind of just want to think about assembling these forms the same way we think about sculpture. So you start with the blocks, for instance, if you're doing marble subtractive sculpture, and then from those blocks you take away, right, to get to the form beneath. And that's kind of what this drawing style is like, okay? So we have our forms, and now I'm just going to let this play on a loop, and I'll start cutting the L into it first, right here. I'll get the side wall of the L. The L will break into a hole below, and there will be a little bit of a wall here. And then I will create an inner beam with two, we'll call it a roof and a floor, okay? So I'm gonna let this start playing. So I think the L is the best way to start because you can, I think you see this shape very well. So once you make that shape, you can remove this bit of the cube with your eraser. And then I also think it really helps to tone the one side, and it makes it easier to see. We'll do more sophisticated value later, but doing a little bit as you go will make it easier to understand what you're doing. So once you do a section, erase around it, make your edges dark that are close to you, and clean out the form around it, okay? So once we have the L, I think dropping this wall below the L is smart because it connects. And remember your rule book, you only get to go vertical to the left vanishing and to the right vanishing. So once you drop the wall, you have to decide if the cut is heading to the right or if it's heading to the left. If it's heading to the right, it just goes to the right vanishing point. If it's heading to the left, it goes to the left. I know that makes it sound easier than it is, but if you have the picture in front of you, it'll help you. And you kind of have to think about where you are in space. Are you on a plane in front of the L, or are you building a hole below? Okay, that's going to really help you. And you really should slow down and clarify once you have made something happen. So for instance, the tower, we'll call it the I tower. So originally it was a cube, and I'm basically just cutting out the space around it. Like I'm cutting into this cube, leaving the roof and the floor. And then instead of having a cube that comes out to here, I'm basically just taking the cube back to that inner beam. It does help, I think, to start right here on the diamond of the inner beam. So the floor of the beam is a good start. And then you can raise its four walls. So there's my inner diamond, and then on the end of that diamond, I raise my four verticals. And then what that does is shrink, right, the inside to a small beam intersecting these two planes. Okay, and then I'm also looking at the image. You guys should have the image up when you're working. Much of what makes this easy to see is the value. So really do chunks of this at a time. Do the L, finish it, do some value. Then do the tower and make the value clear, and then move on to the next bit. But just kind of do this in chunks, okay? The only other move I can kind of describe here is this move that I'm making right here. So I'm establishing another move backwards right here. Like I'm basically creating a wall first, and then I'm charting a little bit of a curve on that wall. And that's it. So once I get here, I'll show you, like I'm dropping the hole, and then I throw the wall back here. And at first, this is just a wall. And basically, I just chart that little turn in that inside wall that's moving into the inside of the cube. So you guys can, you know, stop and slow this whenever you need. And I think if you can get to this point, the next video I'll deal with the cylinder here, the cone here, and the steps. Okay? All right.